Hello and welcome to the virtual tour of my Canvas classroom for my specialized healthcare program at Dooley Elementary School. To give you a background on specialized healthcare, our program is for students who have cognitive impairments in addition to physical disabilities that impede their movement and mobility on campus and at home. The goal of our program, in addition to academics, is to facilitate as much student independence as possible for each student. I know that when our district announced that they would be moving to Canvas, I was a little bit unsure of how I was going to make that platform and content accessible to my learners. But after a little bit of trial and error, I think we have a pretty good system, and so I am excited to show that to you today. So without further ado, I'm going to give you a brief walkthrough of my Canvas classroom, how I have it organized and laid out, and I'm going to show you a brief tour of our morning meeting routine. This is my Canvas classroom. I'm going to go into student view for you so that you can see what my students, aka what my parents, see. Given the nature of my students' physical and cognitive disabilities, they do need one-to-one adult assistance in order to be able to access not only the content, but the Zoom links for my classes. One of the things I have set up for my parents is the first thing that they see when they go into their home page is my daily schedule. I built the Zoom links directly in here within Canvas, so there is an individual Zoom link for each synchronous learning session, and it is a unique link for each session. So if they sign into the Good Morning session and it's time for the colors and shapes, they need to go back out and sign into the correct one. So it's building some integrity into following that schedule and helping my parents to understand that each time we come together, there is a specific purpose for our learning. If you did have some students who were younger, maybe not yet literate, but who could, after some training, learn to recognize shapes or colors, we could go in and embed some shapes here. And so I could say, okay, the Good Morning meeting at 9 a.m., you want to click on the red circle. Down here at the bottom of the screen, I have created some buttons for my parents who may not be able to join for synchronous instruction. This way they do have access to all of my content. But if you do have an adult accessing the information like my students do, this is how I have that set up for them. When I am running my synchronous instruction, all I am asking my parents to do is log into the Zoom meetings themselves, and then I am broadcasting my screen. Before I'm going to stop sharing here real quick, before I show you this, I'm going to go through some of the student-facing materials that I made with the assistance of my instructional aid staff. We made a set for each student so that they would be able to actively participate and have some tangible materials to interact with the online digital content. We have a set of months cards that are used every day when we go through our calendar time. We did print these out and laminate them. We have a set of days of the week cards, again, so that students can answer and participate. So if you have some learners that are just starting to recognize, one way that you can incorporate this is giving them the prompts to say, okay, show me Monday, and asking the student to respond to show their card. We have some weather cards so that they can interact with the type of the weather for the day when we're going through that. We have our 1 through 5 numeral cards that are in a larger format. This is where my students are cognitively learning their rote counting and quantities. If your students are able to go a little bit higher, of course, you want to print out materials that can allow them to participate that way. We have shapes, 4 basic shapes, printed out, laminated, so that students can respond and interact when we're talking about shapes. And then I have some color objects. One of the things that we do a lot is color sorting in the classroom. And I realize that the at-home setting, it's not necessarily conducive to go ask the parents to say, okay, go find 6 red things, go find 6 yellow things, go find 6 blue things. So I just went into BoardMaker and I made a set of 8 things that are red, 8 things that are yellow, 8 things that are blue, 8 things that are green, you know, all through those 6 colors, so that students can participate and access those and have something meaningful to touch and interact with and respond with. So that is the student-facing materials. In addition to those vocabulary type items, there's also a set of 60 core words that we use in the specialized healthcare program. More, different, same. I'm happy to share all of these with you, but these allow us to branch out into multiple areas of curriculum, whether we're working on reading or math or science or social studies or social emotional aspect. These specific vocabulary terms were chosen because they allow the student to be able to construct meaningful responses that allow them to interact with the curriculum. So that's the student-facing materials. Now I'm going to give you a tour of our Good Morning meeting. I organize my material in modules by week. So you'll see I've got week 1, week 2, week 3. And the order of my materials follows my daily schedule. So morning meeting, colors and shapes, reading comprehension, number sense, and functional communication. This is our morning meeting. I try to make it super fun, super engaging, super exciting. As you can see, I start off with a little bit of song, and I do let the song play out in its entirety. It pumps me up, it pumps up my staff, my students respond to it. Kids Bop is fantastic. I love the content that they produce. Disney videos I use sometimes I use things from Sesame Street. There is a world of free content out there that you can utilize so that you can help get your students' attention, because you know, sometimes, let's be honest, it's not fun sitting in front of a computer learning all the time. So I'm trying to make it as student-friendly as possible. Again, student-friendly, make it fun. When we're going through our calendar routine, I know I have learned something this year. I used to be very much against calendar time for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade because I felt that it wasn't age appropriate. And I am happy to admit that I was wrong, because I wasn't taking into consideration all of the different content areas that we are hitting when we are working on calendar time. We have reading comprehension, we have number sense, number sequencing, rote counting, we have ordering of seasons, understanding science and nature. There's so many ways that you can make this time really meaningful and really engaging for students, even through distance learning. One of the ways that I've tried to make this type of learning as fun as possible is to incorporate different fun sounds wherever I can. And one of those ways, there's a wonderful, wonderful website. I will share it with you at the end of this. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it is free sound clips that are royalty free. There's wind chimes, there's horns, there's applause, there's cheering, and you can use these little sound bites to make your Google Slides that much more interesting and that much more interactive. For example, on this one, I try to make things spin whenever I can. We count down the spinning, 3, 2, 1, it's September. We also have a little sound bite up here. And I make it spin when this comes in. Again, anything I can try to do so that my students are not fully aware that what they are doing is work, because it is indeed work. We go through days of the week. What day is today? Again, there's spinning, there's animation, there's sound. You should have seen the looks that I was getting at home as I was inserting all of these various sound bites. So we go through what day is today? What day will it be tomorrow? What day was it yesterday? There's a sound clip on each one of these. I just didn't play them. Fun. We go through the weather. They've got season cards that we talk about. Chimes, because you never know, it might be windy. Got some animation to make it fun and exciting. Social emotional aspect, anyone? Days in school. This is probably one of the things that I love the most. So right now I have my parents, I always play a video at the end of our calendar time that reviews months of the year and days of the week. That's our educational, reinforcer. Let's revisit and review this information that we just covered. And then I have my parents help the student to pick one of the other videos. We usually do 2 videos. We don't have time for more than 2 because I only reserve a 20-minute block for my students in this. But there is so much fun and engaging content out there. One of my personal favorites is getting the celebrity Sesame Street videos. And you can either leave them small like this, or you can pop them out and make them full screen. These don't look right. What is a little Cookie Monster? Oh, we'll never get this. So you can either leave them small in there, or you can make them full size if your students have any visual acuity problems, or they just need, that attention, to keep their attention and make it bigger. So that is a tour of my morning routine. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions, you can email me at drood, R-O-O-D as in David, @lbschools.net. And I hope you have a fantastic day.